Hey there, how there, hello there, it's Jeff Cutter, and I welcome you to R32 coverage of the Above the Rim NCAA Champs and Friends pre-99, should be pre-2000, but yeah. As we have all the champions from 1951 to 1999, except for 97 Arizona, which would have been nice. And we had 16 runner-up, I think 3 per decade, 50, 60, 70, 80s, 90s, and 4 from the 60s, like runners-up. However, so we've got 32 matchups there. So just to remind you, the 1955 San Francisco Dons with Casey Jones and Bill Russell, they took out the 98 Kentucky squad in 6 games. I did best of 7 because it was fun. 78 Kentucky swept 80 Louisville. That's the Jack Gibbons Kentucky squad against the Dr. Duncanstein Daryl Griffiths team. 1970 LA swept through the 94 Razorbacks, of course, pissing me off in the process because, after all, I am an Arkansas guy. 82 Georgetown, the team that should have won the championship, but Fred Brown with the terrible um, pass to North Carolina. They lose to Larry Legend, as in Larry Brown, in the 70 Sycamores in 5. 1990 UNLV, the team that crushed Duke in the tournament final by 30 points. They couldn't get past the 1976 Hoosiers, the last team to go undefeated throughout a whole NCAA season. I know you'll be saying, what about Miami of Ohio? Well, yes, but Miami of Ohio hasn't played in the NCAA tournament. Well, it's after the tournament. Anyway, 59 California. They will. Um, they were the national champs that year. They lost in 5 to the 83 5 Slamma Jamma Houston Cougars with Mr. Drexler and Mr. Ledgman. 1988 Kansas with Danny and the Miracles, Danny Manning. They lose in 5 to the 93 North Carolina squad that won the Super Bowl, the Superdome cutter, whatever that can. Oh, yes. 65 UCLA sweeping 81 Indiana with Isaiah Thomas, which was shocking. 91 Duke, the team that took care of those pesky uh, UNLV squad in the semifinals. They swept the 58 Seattle squad that won the second place with Elgin Baylor. 1983 NC State, they were up 3 games to 0 on the 64 UCLA squad, but shockingly lost 4 straight. None of them were really close. Well, game 7 was close. They only lost by 4, but they failed. The Cinderella Wittenberg to Charles. So 73 UCLA, they won game 7. They were up 3-0. They lost 3 straight, but they won in Kentucky in game 7 against the 96 Kentucky squad. 79 Michigan State with Magic Johnson on the team and Mike Berkovich from Windsor, Ontario, taking on the 53 Indiana squad and beat them in 5. The 89 Michigan squad that won the national title game. Yes, Michigan did win a national champion, by the way. 1989 gets 1960 Ohio State with 1 Robert Montgomery Knight, and he wins in 6. 51 Kentucky swept the 57 Kansas squad, the big one, because Kentucky was almost ruined by point shaving, and Kansas had the Big Dipper, Will Chamberlain. 56 San Francisco, Casey Jones and Bill Russell take 2, but they only go 1 for 2. They lost to 86 Louisville with Never Nervous Purvis Ellison. 87 Syracuse, the team that lost the national title game with Derek Coleman. They lost in 6 to the 77 Marquette squad with Al McGuire as coach and Butch Lee, Olympic hero, at player. 70 Jacksonville with Artis Gilmore, great center, but they were the runner-up to UCLA that year. They took on the 93 Michigan squad that also was the runner-up, the Fab Five. Unfortunately, that Fab Five team lost in 5. Well, of course, Chris Webber would go on to be the number 1 draft pick in 93 by Orlando, who was then traded to Golden State for their number 1 pick, Penny Hardaway, which actually worked out. 71 UCLA and loses in 6 to 84 Georgetown, the team that finally got Patrick Ewing a national title. 1961 Cincinnati, the team that won their first of 2 back-to-back titles. They got taken out in 6 by the 82 North Carolina squad with Jordan Perkins, Black, Worthy, and what is his name? Not Exum. Oh, man, those names are going to kill me. Look at the roster. You got Perkins, Worthy, Doherty, yeah, Jordan, Black, Braddock, Exum. Surprised I knew Exum right off the bat. Yeah. 69 UCLA took out Texas Western, aka UTEP, in 5. The 66 team that broke racial boundaries by standing 5 black players in the final, and they won. 52 Kansas took out 59 West Virginia in 6. Had a West Virginia guy by the name of West. True to form. 74 NC State, who broke UCLA's run of national titles that they had won every title since 1967, but NC State was the one who broke that streak, and they beat LA in the Final Four. They sweep the 66 Kentucky squad with Pat Riley, and Kentucky finally realizing they need black players. 69 Purdue with Rick Mount there. They lose in 5 to the 62 Bearcats that won the second straight national title for that franchise. 63 Cincy, who were looking for the three-peat. They got to the final, but they fell flat to Loyola, Illinois. They win in 5 over 57 North Carolina with Lanny Rosenblum. Was it Lanny Rosenblum? Anyway, 95 Arkansas, another Arkansas team, they got swept by 85 Nova. Of course, the 95 team did not win the title like 94 did. Anyway, yeah, they got swept by 85 Villanova, the 8 seed, the lowest seed to win a title. Is that Yoda? Yeah, anyhow, so yeah, 85 Villanova did it. That was done 8 days before I was born. 54 LaSalle with Tom Gola. In 5, yeah, Tom Gola and his crew, they went in 5 over 99 Yukon with Rip Hamilton, national title. Anyway, 58 Kentucky losing in 5 to 87 Indiana, the team that with Keith Smart being the hero. 72 UCLA losing in 7 to 92 Duke. 92 Duke, second straight title for them. 72 LA, but yeah, Duke was up 3 games to 9. They botched it, and then they crushed LA in game 7. Thank goodness for them. 94 Duke with Grant Hill, but no Christian Laettner. They lose in 6 to the 95 UCLA squad that finally gave the Bruins their first national title in 2 decades after John Wooden left. 1978 Duke, national losers. They lost to the 67 LA squad in 5. 61 Ohio State with Robert Montgomery Knight. They lose in 6 to the 68 LA squad with Lou Alcindor. Of course, this was the same year of them playing the University of Houston in what they called the game of the century at the Houston Astrodome. Not a really good place to play basketball, but anyway, yeah, they got their revenge in the semis. And 63 Loyola, Illinois, of course, Sister Jean's school, who recently passed away. Big sweep for them. They took out the 75 UCLA squad. So now we got going. We did have to do one of the 16 matchups offhand because it was UCLA versus UCLA. And they both were kind of the same year. And the 68 UCLA squad won in 5. So 68 UCLA will move on to the final round. The team with like Lou Alcindor looking good with points and rebounds and blocks. Mike Warren with assists and steals. So anyway, so now we get to 87 Indiana and 70 Jacksonville. We're going to do that one first. We do 8 matchups today, 8 tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. Game 1 sees Jacksonville win 92-81 as Artis Gilmore takes on Keith Smart. Jacksonville wins 26 from Gilmore in 32 minutes, 20 points from Rex Morgan, 13 from Kruger in 19 minutes, 27 from Steve Alford, who was the captain of the team, 18 from Garrett. Keith Smart only had 8. Personal fouls. Gilmore did have 5 fouls in 32 minutes. Unfortunately, in college ball, you foul out after you're out after 5 fouls, not 6. Game 2 sees Jacksonville win again by 17. 27 from Gilmore, 13 from Morgan, 14 from Wedeking, 17 from Alford, 15 from Garrett, 15 from Thomas. Smart was not the starter. 3 Indiana players were close to fouling it with 4. 3 Dolphins had 5 fouls. Burles, Nelson, and Morgan. Yeah, surprised Gilmore. And he played all 40 minutes. 3 Jacksonville Dolphins fouled out, but they still won by 17. Game 3 sees Jacksonville crushing Indiana 83-58. 30 by Gilmore, 14 by Morgan, 18 by Smart. Everyone at the end, except for Thomas, had double digits. Nobody got 4 fouls, so that's good. Anyway, in game 4, Jacksonville sweeps Indiana 83-78. 25 from Gilmore, 17 from Morgan, 16 from Burrows, 27 from Thomas, 19 from Alvert for Indiana. No foul outs. Well, Gilmore fouled out, but Jacksonville moves on. The 69-70 Jacksonville squad, Artis Gilmore looking good with the points, rebounds, and blocks, whereas Rex Morgan assists and steals. So, yeah, they actually only lost one game, and that was the first game to the 93 Michigan squad, but they've won 8 in a row. 68 UCLA, well, they lost 2 of the first 3 against 61 Ohio State, won the next 3, and then they won 4 out of 5 in that one. Next up, we will have 63 Loyola and 82 North Carolina. So MJ versus Sister Jean's school. Game 1 sees Loyola win 80-70. 21 from Egan, 15 from Harkness, 14 from Miller. Rouse was also a good player, so was Hunter. Harkness did foul out after 25 minutes. 17 from MJ. He was the only North Carolina player in double digits. Worthy with 5,013 minutes of play. Yipes. That's why you lose. Game 2 sees Loyola win again, 79-57. 16 from Rouse, 13 from Hunter, 13 from Smith. North Carolina, 4 different guys in double digits. Black only having 2 points. Foul problems? Not really. Game 3 sees Loyola win, so now their one went away. 19 from Worthy, 14 from MJ, 10 from Doherty. Doherty did have 4 fouls. 20 points from Miller, 10 from Rouse for Loyola. Seemed like, yeah, they only used 9 players, but they didn't need to. Game 4 sees Loyola win 67-56. 14 from Black, 11 from MJ. Man, they were playing shutdown defense, if we will. Worthy with only 8 points. So, man, that's a brutal loss. Yeah, so 67 UCLA, sorry. Elsendor led in points, rebounds, and assists. He had that 39-point game against Duke. And all that. 87 Indiana. Alford ended up with the most points and assists, 18.6 points per game. 29 against Kentucky was the high point. 63 Loyola. Harkness now up to 14.6 points per game. Rouse with rebounds, Egan with assists, Miller with steals, and Hunter with blocks. They've won 8 in a row, these Ramblers are. They've won 2 straight sweeps. 82 North Carolina. Worthy had a lot of things going for them, but they just couldn't get anything going against those pests. They were down 2-0 to the 61 Bearcats, but they couldn't do it this time. No. Number 4, we'll see 55 San Francisco against 73 LA. So it's Bill Russell versus Bill Walton. The Battle of the Bills in California. Game 1 sees LA win 66-59. 22 from Mullen, 16 from Russell. Casey Jones with only 12. 14 from Wilkes, 12 from Walton. They just basically had it themselves. Time. Game 2 saw LA win 76-46. Russell had 25, but everyone else struggled. 18 each from Walton and Holyfield. I think that's Evander Holyfield's cousin. LA winning by 30. Game 3 sees LA win 73-62. 20 from Walton, 12 from Wilkes, 11 from Holyfield. And 16 from Russell. No foul-outs? Nope. Game 4, another sweep. 67-54. LA wins. 18 from Wilkes, 10 from Holyfield, 20 from Russell. Yeah, no fouls. No fouls. Yeah. Wilkes with 4 fouls. So 55 San Francisco. Russell, 21 points, 17 rebounds per game. Jones, 3.9 assists. Yeah, nobody could hit the heights. 73 LA. Bill Walton, 19.8 points, 17.8 rebounds per game. Curtis with the assist. So, yeah, that's good. Well, they won 3, lost 3, and then they won game 7. But now they won 4 in a row. Nicely done. Next up is 78 Kentucky against 84 Georgetown, number 5 on their list. Jack Givens versus Fred Brown. And Georgetown wins 79-66. 18 from Roby, 14 from Givens, 19 from Williams, 13 from Wingate, 11 from Brownell. Ewing only had 7 points. Only 7 points. I thought Fred Brown was on that team. That's what I thought. I thought Fred Brown was on that team. That's what I thought. Game 2 sees Georgetown win 82-77. Yeah, there's Fred Brown. I guess he didn't play it. Game 1. 21 from Givens, 16 from Roby, 14 from Lee. 21 from Wingate, 17 from Ewing. Fred Brown, no points in 17 minutes. Who's Jordan? Yeah, and Jackson, 14 points. I don't know. Game 3 sees Georgetown win, so they're looking for the sweep. 16 from Jackson, 13 from Martin, 12 from Wingate, 12 from Graham. They didn't meet the big points. 5 fouls from Williams for Kentucky and 5 from Givens. That's what kind of ruined them. Brutal mistake there. Game 4 sees Georgetown with the sweep, 84-79. 32 from Patrick Ewing. He was starting to get his groove on this game. Claytor had 5 fouls for Kentucky, 16 from Givens, 14 from Lee. So 84 Kentucky, Georgetown, 78 Kentucky, Gibbons 19.6 points per game. Roby and Macy, the future bowl, 5.9. Gibbons, yeah, they didn't really have much. They won 4 straight, then lost the next 4. 84 Georgetown. Ewing's got 15.6 points per game, 7.9 rebounds. Jackson 3.3 assists. Ewing 5 blocks per game. Yeah, Ewing 32 points, better than his 30. Well, they won 2, then they won the next 2, lost the next 2, and then they won the next 2. So lots of 2s, but then 4 straight. So that's that. Next, we will have 69 UCLA against 79 Indiana State. So Ed Sindor's swan song versus Larry Bird's swan song. Game 1 goes to the Sycamores, 88-77. 22 from El Sindor in 26 minutes. 13 from Rowe from Sheck with 13. Sweek with 11. 5 fouls from Heinz, the point guard. He only played 12 minutes. 34 from Larry Legend. 16 from Nix. 13 from Gilbert. So, yeah, Larry Legend knew what he had to do. Game 2 sees LA win 88-82, so we're going to see a competitive series this time. 25 from Alcindor, 14 from Rowe, 30 from Bird, 21 from Nix, 13 from Gilbert. And how did they lose? Because the bench only had 8 points. Game 3 sees LA win 84-64, 19 from Larry Legend, 15 from Heaton, 13 from Nix, 5 fouls from Miley in 10 minutes of play. 16 from Valley. Alcindor only got 15. You know who Alcindor is. I hope you know who he is. LA wins 92-71 in that one. 25 from Alcindor, 20 from Rowe, 5 fouls for Heinz, 5 fouls from Staley, even though had 12 points for the United States. Second best scorer. Bird had 28. Game 5 sees Indiana State win on home turf 93-84. 18 from Alcindor, 14 from Rowe, 13 from Pedersen. 5 fouls from Bird. He fouled out in 29 minutes. 21 points, 29 points. 25 from Nix. And Staley with 9. Game 6 sees LA win on home turf 83-69. 25 from Bird, 10 from Miley. 17 from Patterson, 16 minutes. Elzinder only had 13 points. Only had 13 points, but they still win the game. So 69 LA wins. Elzinder 21.5 points, 12.6 rebounds per game. Not really the best of moments. But they lost the first game to UTEP, but won the next 4, and then they lost. But 69 Indian State. Bird led everything except for blocks. You know you can't block the ball. 22.6 points, 14.2 rebounds, 7.3 Oh no, Steve Reed with the assist. What am I thinking? Yeah, Bird. Yeah, good skill scoring. Against Georgetown, they did lose game 4, but I guess Larry Bird was just the icon. Yeah, Larry Bird is an icon in the series, but they're out. 2 more to go. Number 7 will be 91 Duke versus 70 UCLA. Let's see what happens. Game 1 sees Duke lose 80 to 70. 4 starters in double digits, literally with 10. Kubek, no points. 5 fouls from Palmer. I didn't know about Palmer. I know Billy McCaffrey, but then he led to Vanderbilt. 21 from Wicks, 16 from Rowe. Henry Bibby with 10. Yeah, this team wasn't supposed to do well without one Abdul Jabbar, as he would soon be later known as. Game 2 sees Duke get their asses whipped. Only 53 points. 20 from Leitner, 14 from Hill. Otherwise, nothing. 22 from Rowe, 18 from Wicks, and 16 from Patterson. Game 3 sees LA win 91-81. So big news for LA. 24 from Wicks, 21 from Valet, Rowe of 19. 26 from Leitner, great job. 13 from Hill, but this looks like a sweep. Sweep City Women. LA wins 89-78. 25 from Rowe, 19 from Valet. Lang and Hurley fouled out with 5 each. 23 from Leitner, 14 from McCaffrey, 12 from Kubek. They just couldn't do it. 91 Duke, Leitner, 23.4 points, 9.6 rebounds. Yeah, not much to celebrate because they swept Seattle, but got swept themselves. 70 UCLA, 18.8 points by Wicks, and rebounds 11.8. So, 26. Rowe had 25 against Duke. They have swept through everybody. They've won 8 straight. So they, like Loyola, have had 8 straight wins. And our 8th and final matchup will be 64 LA taking on 79 Michigan State. So we'll see what Magic does. Larry Bird had a chance to knock down UCLA, but couldn't. Game 1, close one, 88-86. LA nips him by 2. 31 from Walt Hazard, 15 from Erickson. 31 from Kessler, 22 from Magic. So Berkovich, the pride of Windsor, playing 33 minutes with 2 fouls and 10 points. Game 2 sees MSU tie it up 83-71, 21 from Hazard, 14 from Goodrich. Every starter, Kessler, Vincent, Charles, Donnelly, and Magic with double-digit points. Berkovich played 11 minutes. Game 3 sees Michigan State win 25 from Kessler, 12 from Magic. Only 12 from Magic. I'm surprised. And 11 from the Canadian Berkovich. 19 from Goodrich, 14 from Erickson on UCLA squad. Game 4 sees LA win 96-79. So this series is going at least 6. Every starter got 10 points. Berkovich was not one of them. He only got 6 points in 32 minutes. And 33 from Goodrich, 18 from Hazard, 19 from Hirsch. Game 5 sees LA go to Michigan State, win 80-73. 20 from Erickson, Goodrich with 14, Slaughter with 12. 4 fouls from Hoffman in just 3 minutes play. Vincent and Kessler fouled out. Berkovich, 17 points. Great job. Magic only got 9 points. So they basically ruined Magic. But Berkovich, the Canadian, had to fix it when he could. Game 6 sees LA win, so Magic's out. 19 from Kessler, 19 from Johnson. Berkovich came in and had 11 points in 21 minutes of play. 20 from Hazard, so LA wins in 6. Goodrich was 19.2, can do the points. Erickson, the rebounds. Hazard, the assists. Goodrich, 35 points. They lost the first 3 to NC State, won the next 4. They almost went to another game 7. Michigan State, Kessler, 20.3 points. Magic, 12.4 rebounds. Magic, 7.5. I'm actually shocked. I thought Magic had more points than that. Magic had 15 points per game. Kessler at 20. So they shut down. So Magic, I think, was just basically doing the passing. Yeah, they won 4 out of 5 against Fifth Street, Indiana. They were up 2-1. Berkovich, I don't think he did much, but yeah. So yeah, so Berkovich was fifth in points per game. Fifth in points per game. Yeah, Mike Berkovich. Too bad they don't say he's from Canada. So yeah, he played 11 games, started 6 of them. So the Canadian making his mark, but not so much. So yeah, 8 series, no game sevens. That's cool. That's cool. So anyway, we have 8 more series for you tomorrow to enjoy. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.